What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and we have a lot to go over today. As you guys know, we like to track the markets as a whole on this channel because it gives us a better view of everything. We're also going to take a look at the end of the video. We'll take a look at some charts that are a year old with targets that have been there for a year or more on both gold, silver, XRP, Ethereum, and Litecoin. So definitely stick around for the end of that. But we're going to take a look at the macro view. Then we're going to dive into the Bitcoin smaller time frames and look at what is possible there too. So stick around. Any of you that have been around this channel any amount of time know that I have been bullish on the DXY for well over a year. Talking about it going to new all-time highs, it is still very possible. So something to be cautious for. We're also going to look at some very scary things in the markets. If your money's in your 401k or whatnot, you need to be careful and watch out for this stuff. Now, nobody knows exactly what the market's going to do, right? We've been pretty dead on so far. Will it continue? Very good possibility. And I'll show you kind of a great opportunity. A lot of people think it's negative to say the markets go down. Well, that's what markets do. So there's always opportunity. And I'm going to show you what I'm watching for. It doesn't mean pull all your money out of everything. If the market does have a bounce back and go to new all-time highs, then you obviously want to have something in there. But I don't believe that's going to happen. But I'm going to show you both scenarios. I'll also show you the bullish case on Bitcoin. The areas to watch for. We're going to take a look at our Amazon compared to Bitcoin chart, which we created on December 2nd. That is playing out beautifully, still very valid. Anyways, let's get into it. Before I begin, make sure you smash those likes. Make sure you leave a comment down below and share the video if you would. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tick that notification bell. It will get you notified when I post new videos daily, Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekends. Let's get into it. So looking at the Dow Jones, I know a lot of people like to watch the S&P and whatnot, but Dow is where it's at, guys. I've been talking about this for years. This is how we have been able to call these market structures almost to the T. So let's take a look. Obviously, back here was the March 2020 crash, right? And if we look how the RSI reacted, you can see it came all the way down here, had a little bounce before it bottomed right here. And that was this bounce before continuing way down. Well, we have a long ways to go here. And I told you last week, well, I've been telling you for weeks, once we break this bottom trend line, it could get very ugly, right? That's what we're doing now. So right now, our support on the bottom of this channel is about 20,000 or 28,500. If that is to break, it could get very ugly very fast. Be careful here, guys. This could, but I'm not saying it can't rally back up, maybe come back up into this range before coming down. But once we break this bottom channel, guys, my target's around the 22.7 area, 22.8. And if that breaks, it's going to get very ugly. And I'll show you in the next chart what you may be looking for. But as of right now, we broke down here as expected. Again, watch for this 29.5 area. If that is to break, it could get very ugly very fast. A lot of people have heard the expression, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. I totally believe in that. I don't pay attention to the news, guys. It's all in the charts. And then magically, news events match up with what the charts were already telling us. Some believe that, some don't. It's your choice. I do believe it. It's done me very, very, very well. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Again, if we do get a bounce here, and we'll take a look at the DXY also and show you what to watch for in that. It'll kind of give you a heads up on what's going on. But anyways, this is still, nothing's changed here. Still looking at this. We broke here. Could we come back up, rally up and retest this? Definitely a possibility, something to watch out for. And that would mean Bitcoin would probably get a little rally with it. And again, on Bitcoin on the smaller time frames, we'll talk about what to watch for. Here is the worst case scenario for the Dow Jones. Could it repeat the 1929 Great Depression? As you can see, all this whole market structure, and that's what we like to watch on this channel. And a lot of people ask, do you sell courses? No, I don't sell courses because every video on this channel has a lot to learn in it. And if somebody's selling you courses, they're selling you their bad habit. They obviously can't trade and make money, so they have to make money by selling you their bad habits. Be cautious. Don't get into that stuff. Don't pay for the paid groups, guys. That's very dangerous. They have no idea what they're doing 99.999% of the time. That's why they charge you, right? Because they can't make money doing it themselves. All right, so this is a huge opportunity area if this was to happen. A lot of people say it's impossible. It is not impossible. But if it does get down here now, what you'll realize is if this does continue crashing, all the people that are holding up here, buying up here, they may have to wait many, many, many years to recover. While if you would have bought the bottom down in this range, anywhere down in here, right? This big range right in here. If you would have bought back in there, but into the dollar, and I've explained on this channel for well over a year, when the markets crash, the dollar rises. Why? Because smart money is getting in the dollar up here. They're getting rid of their assets, getting in the dollar, and they buy back on the bottom. And look, they just continuously make money for years and years and years after that. This could be the opportunity of many lifetimes. So just want to put this out there. It's not guaranteed to happen, but it is definitely something to watch out for. That's what I'm watching out for. So looking at the DXY, as you guys know, we'll take a look at the bigger time frames, but we've been watching this channel. I showed you once we broke this channel, this should become support. It does look like it's becoming support. And then we have a measured move around 119 to 120, but right now we're still holding as support. If we zoom in here, still holding it as support. Looks good, bouncing off the ADMA. If we break down below this in the 4 hour, then obviously we may get our little rally. And again, we'll talk about what that would mean for Bitcoin here in a minute. But as of right now, we're getting our bounce. It does look pretty bullish. Again, if we drop down below here and this becomes resistance, then we may see a little rally over the next couple days. But as of right now, still looking very bullish on the dollar. Let's look at the daily. And as you can see, here's my daily targets, right? We've had this for a long time. Once we broke this, our next big target is going to be 122. That's the measured move of this rising channel, which we broke out of, guys. That's very bullish. Now, if we look at it on the weekly, the big picture, years ahead, look at this measured move. The DXY could get up to break the all-time high and get up to 178 to 180 range. Now, that doesn't mean this shoots up in one straight line. Obviously, you know, over here, it took about 5 years for this big rally. So if that's the case, we could be in a much longer bear market than people expect. I just want you guys to be cautious, be aware. Again, none of this is financial advice and none of this is guaranteed because nobody knows what the markets are going to do. But the charts can give you great clues as what's possible. And I do believe this is very possible. A lot of people ask me why I don't do news on the channel or whatnot. I see no use of the news. Like I said, when you see big moves in the charts, like before Elon Musk tweeted and Bitcoin dropped, we were calling for that drop way before he tweeted and way before the drop started. I don't know, you guys. I think paying attention to the news and the articles and all that stuff can really screw you up. I like to stick with the charts. This is data. Data has been proven right way more times than wrong. News events really usually just screw people. So be careful. This is what I'm looking for in the DXY over time. And if you guys are interested in trading, before we get into this any further and start looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, gold, silver, all that, make sure if you guys are interested in trading, definitely check out Prime XBT. You can trade all this stuff right on one exchange, not just crypto. You can trade Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow Jones. You can even do pre-markets. Definitely check them out. I do have a link down below. I do get a small commission if you use my link. It just helps the channel out. Also, if you use my promo code SAVVY50, you get up to a $7,000 bonus that gets added to your margin. Savvy25 will get you 25% off your fees. If you're new to trading, don't just get on there and start trading money right away. There is a contest section. You can join the contests for free. And you can actually win tradable money if you win those contests. And you can get used to the exchange, kind of get a technique down for your trading. Definitely practice before you go spending all your money, because it's guaranteed while you're beginning to learn to trade, you're going to lose. There's going to be losses. You need to learn your risk management. Anyways, let's get into it. So looking at Bitcoin on the weekly, as you guys know, just to show you how we got these targets, right? So this rising channel here, I told you guys way back here, when this broke, our next target was going to be around 25.5. Bam, we nailed it. And then we made a bear flag right here. We use that same measured move as a flagpole right here. We bring that down to that break. I gave you guys this target, 17.6. Bam, we hit it. Then we're looking at this here. Same thing, a bear flag. So using the same flagpole gets us down to about 87. You guys know I've been talking about a false bottom between 75 and 8,500. We're also going to take a look at some other bubble pop patterns besides the Amazon one that Bitcoin seems to be mocking, and just show you something else. I know everyone thinks that Bitcoin has to reach a new all-time high. It's 100% going to go higher. No market can be guaranteed like that, guys. I just want you guys to know, be careful. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm going to say there is a possibility that it doesn't happen, or at least it doesn't happen for a very long time. And I'll explain why. So make sure, pay attention. All right, if we look at this as a rising broadening wedge, also right here where it broke, we take a measured move from the bottom to the top of the wedge, bring it down. So that gives us our 14.5 target. Again, this is on the weekly. You're going to get different targets for weekly, 4 hour, daily, all that. But that is my first target right here for the weekly, around 14.5. May bounce around in there for a bit, couple months even maybe, and then come down to our low down at around 75 to 8,700. And maybe bounce around in here, get another big rally back up to this 14.5 towards the end of the year or beginning of next year, and then continue on down to our low, which I believe is possible to not see this low till possibly middle or end of next year. Now, if we see this low faster, like around November or whatever, and people's 4-year cycle theory becomes truth, that's another thing, guys. Everybody's counting on that 4-year cycle. That's a great way for smart money to take retail money, by getting them to believe something. It's like they get conditioned into believing something, so they get all your money. I don't know how else to explain that. I've tried to explain it over and over. People just don't get it. People get very brainwashed on believing that an asset is going to continue up forever. That's not a guarantee, guys. All right. So anyways, now the other target we have here is, once we broke down from this trend here, we take a measured move all the way down to the bottom, looking at this as a flagpole. This is just a big bear flag, and that's where we get our target of around 3,500 to 4,000. Not saying it's going to happen. Again, guys, I'm saying you need to be cautious and be careful and watch who you're paying attention to, because a lot of these people, these YouTubers, really don't have market experience. All they've ever looked at is Bitcoin. I've had over a decade into the markets, watching the markets. Started out in penny stocks, like I told you guys. Just be careful. All right, so this is the .com bubble right here. They had to wash out all the .com scams, and I made this chart on December 2nd. I tweeted it out. You can follow me on my Twitter. That's also down below. I'll leave that in the comment section too with my other links. But if it does play out like this, now if it was to play out the timing wise, right? The tops have been perfect on the timing. Even this top here, which was right here, perfect on the timing. All this timing and everything is playing out. Now, what would invalidate this chart? A lot of people talk about that. As you can see, there's no indication of any invalidation. It is totally playing out. If we break this 55 EMA and hold above it, I know that's way up there. It's 31.4. But remember, a lot of people bought up here. So even if you bought at 40 and it did continue a bull run, you're way better off than a lot of these people, right, that have just lost money here and sold at a loss. So Watching this 55 EMA, and currently it's sitting around 32,000. Do I think that's going to hit? I don't think it's going to hit. Again, nobody knows what's going to happen, but that is the area I'm watching. If we can break that and get support up there, then maybe all this bullishness of we're going to new all-time highs. But guys, that's not how markets bottom. Even the RSI is playing out perfectly in here. And if we get that false bottom, like I said, February or March or next year, if it plays out in the same time frame as this, we'll get a rally. We'll also break this trend line. Let me move this over so you can see it. We'll also break this trend line like we did back here on the weekly, so everybody would get extremely bullish. Get this pump possibly from the 75 to 8,500 all the way up to 14, 15,000, and then continue down just like it did over here in the RSI to retest this bottom and get a real low. And that would be sometime in the middle or end of next year if this was to play out, timing and all. But again, there is a possibility we see a low this year, and we'll take a look at that. But one thing I want to point out is that this took 10 years to get back up and break that all-time high. This is the same chart, guys, that weekly chart, and we're probably somewhere in this area here. Not sure exactly where, but somewhere in this area here. And as you notice, everybody's expecting a huge bounce up. This took 2 to 3 years to form a macro bottom. This is a macro view on a weekly, right? If that's the case, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to lose confidence in Bitcoin once we hit this low, and it's going to take a long time to come back. Does it come back? Yes, but just to get back up to, you know, this low over here, which was in June on Bitcoin, took 3-4 years, almost 4 years. So be looking, you know, for a bottom to form right here. And if we move this over, what did this form? This formed an inverse head and shoulders. Beautiful bottom formation. That happens on Bitcoin. We can look for the same type thing. Again, I don't think it's going to shoot straight to the moon. And this here is going to wash out a lot of the altcoins, a lot of the scammy stuff. So I've been talking about this for a long time. Like I said, I made a video on it December 2nd. If you open up my YouTube channel, it's playing as you open it. But what happens if it takes longer than this? Because this is a bubble pop pattern. People are trying to count waves in here. There's really no waves to count when a bubble pops. This is an overhyped market. The bubble popped and then it, you know, obviously continued up. Now, if it does like Amazon, look what could happen. Huge opportunity. But like I said, I don't think it's going to just shoot straight up to the moon like these people are talking about with the 4-year cycle crap. All markets are on a 4-year cycle. It's called the election cycle. So anyways, looking at that, like I said, could be 10 years till we break that all-time high. Our all-time high was last year, so maybe another 8 to 9 years before we actually break that high. Definitely a possibility, something to keep in your mind. A lot of people are putting way more money than they can afford to let sit there for 10 years. Just something to think about. Now, if we look at Nintendo, Nintendo was another overhyped rally. Again, this is on a weekly chart. So Nintendo dropped 89%. If that was the case, then our bottom would be 7,500. But it's been over 15 years and it never broke its all-time high. Take a look at another one. Sony bubble pop. Over 20 years. Still hasn't made an all-time high. And look at it drop now. I know people say you can't compare this with that and blah, blah, blah. Markets all work the same, guys. Especially overhyped markets that bubbles pop. They all form the same type patterns, guys. Right down here, you had a false bottom. Just like here, you had a false bottom way down here. Came up, got everyone bullish, and made a lower low. That's usually what happens in overhyped markets when the bubble pops. Am I being negative? Not at all. I'm showing you a possibility of a great opportunity. So anyways, if this was to happen, it was 94%, and that would get us down to 43. That's the Sony bubble pop. But again, it's been over 20 years. Still no new all-time high. So there's no guarantee that Bitcoin's going to a new all-time high anytime soon. Could it happen? Definitely a possibility. But the charts are all kind of pointing to it not happening anytime soon. So just something to be aware of. All right, let's take a look at the daily. So we've been watching this falling wedge on the daily, right? It's matching up with our RSI also. We knew this would be a great place to short, which it was at around that 23,000 range. and looking for this fifth wave down of a wedge, right? This is the daily chart, guys. Now, if we take a measured move of this descending triangle, which we've been talking about for weeks, if we break this 18.3 level, 18.2, we can look for our measured move target at 34. Now, this is where I say, if this was to happen fast and we see this hit this low around November, probably a great opportunity to buy in. Is it guaranteed? Not at all. But it definitely could be a great opportunity to buy in if we get there, and that would look something like this. Let's just kind of draw it in there. Come down, get a bounce at that 14.5 to 15.5 level, come all the way back up, test that bottom of that triangle again, maybe bounce around here for a while, then this breaks, come back up to test it, come back down, something like this, guys. Markets don't move in a straight line, right? But if we do see something like that and we see these lows at the end of the year, that's probably a good opportunity to buy in. Do I think that's going to happen? It's possible. I don't necessarily think so. Let's take a look at where we get bullish here now. If we break above this 21,200, and this goes lower every day, guys. This is a descending trend line, right? But if we break that, we break this 21.2 area, possibly as high as this yellow trend line here, which would be around 21.6. If we break that and get support, then we can start looking at the bullish case scenario. So watch for that. If we do break up there, then that could get bullish. We could start looking for more bullish targets. But as of right now, everything still looks pretty grim for the price of Bitcoin. Is that grim for the future? Not at all, because there's plenty of opportunity. We'll zoom into the smaller time frame in a minute. We can do that right now. But I do want to show you right here on the RSI, this is playing out, does show that we'll probably get another touch down to the bottom of this wedge in the RSI on the daily. Let's look at the 4 hour. All right, so let's zoom in here on the 4 hour. We're within this, the yellow line is still the descending triangle, right? So let's take a look at a bullish case first. So on the bullish case, what are our bullish targets? Well, if we break this 19,300 range and get support up here, our next target is going to be this 200 EMA around 20,200 range, right? This is the bullish case, but first we'd have to break this 19.3 range. We break this 19.3, get support, we could be looking for this 20,200. If we do get there, maybe a fast wick and just continuation to the downside. But if we take a measured move, looking at this whole thing as a triangle from we had our big pump here all the way down. And obviously now we got like A, B, C, D, E, and then continue up. If that was the case, the highest I see it going, and look, that gets us to that 21,200. So could we get a big pump there? Possibly. But these are the areas to watch. Until these break, we don't look for these, right? Now, if this breaks down, that gets us down to around the 17,000. Like I said, guys, if we break that 17.6, which is right here, if we break this area, this is probably going to fall pretty quick to at least 15.5, maybe the weekly target of 14.5. So definitely, again, if we break the 19.3, could go as high as 21,200. If that breaks, 21,200. And if we break above that, then we can start to look bullish. But until then, all this stuff is still pointing bearish. Now we have 2 hours till the candle close. A lot of times we'll have a reversal in the middle of a 4-hour candle. If that's the case, we should get a reversal here. If not, we break up and go higher. But also looking at it on the 4-hour RSI right here. Let's see where this 4-hour closes. If it closes down below this trend line, then we're probably gonna continue to the downside. If it closes up here and we get support, that may break this line, get support, then we look for the 21.2. I know it sounds confusing, guys, but there's confirmation points you have to watch for, right? All in all, macro is still bearish. Looking at the smaller time frames, we have areas to watch for pumps. But take a look at Ethereum. So this chart, a year old, guys, we had our first target in 1919. That was the break of this rising wedge. And I told you, if this broke the 1919, that would become resistance, which it has. And then the last few weeks, we've been looking at this trend line. Here's the bullish case for Ethereum. If it breaks 13.8, possibility it gets up to the 1550 again. But if it cannot break this 13.8, again, our next target is the measured move of around 700 bucks. If the 700 breaks and we go in a longer term bear market, we could see as low as 300. We could see a lot lower than that. And I'll show you in a later video as this plays out. I don't want to get people too worried right now. So look at XRP, this chart, also a year old. Remember back here, I called this drop to 46. We got the drop and got a pump up. Everybody called me crazy because I said we would break it, and we broke it over here. Now what it looks like is we come up. This could have got front run to test this falling triangle right here, descending triangle. You see it, white line on the bottom, this line on the top. Looks like we came back to test that. Could still get another pump up there to retest that 58 and come down. But as of right now, we may front ran it and it comes down from here. Now, what is the area to watch? If it goes below this 42.5 cent range, then we're looking to come back down, retest this 32 cent range. If that breaks, we're looking for that 17 cents. Still, that is our target from this triangle right here. We just took a measured move of the widest part of the triangle to where it broke, and that gets us our 16 to 17 cent range. Still think that's a very good possibility, guys. Be careful. This scam, everybody was making a big deal out of this huge pump here, but if you zoom out, it's not that huge. Also, look at the pump from 2018, guys. This looks like, I know a lot of people hate when I say it, but a dying penny stock. Remember, I came from penny stocks. I know what these look like, and this definitely looks like a dying penny stock. All right, Litecoin. Litecoin, same thing. This chart's a year old. Our target is around 25 bucks. I think it could go a lot lower if we are in a true traditional bear market. We had our targets down here, 35. We didn't quite hit the 35.85, but then we were looking for a bounce up to 61.31. We got that almost perfectly, and you can go back and check my videos, guys. I made this target, which hit September 14th. Made it way back here, right, when we started looking at this. And that was just measured move of this break right here. Once we broke this in July, I said watch for 68.31. Didn't quite hit it, got pretty close. But now our next target from breaking down from here is just a measured move right here to 35.85. Once this breaks, then we look for the 25. And again, if we are in long-term bear market, it could get very ugly. Now gold. This chart's also a year old. Our target has been 1561. Remember, if we are in a long-term bear market, I think this could go a lot lower. And if you guys were been watching long enough, you know I had said in a traditional bear market, the only thing that rises, and I've said this for years, the only thing that rises, you can check the charts yourself. I've showed it in many videos in the past. No one wanted to listen. Maybe you can go back and watch it now. The DXY is the only thing that rises when traditional markets crash. Gold, silver, everything crashes with the market. Now, another thing I showed you on that is when they do crash, gold usually don't crash quite as bad as the regular market, but you'll see a lot of commercials when everything's about to dump about buy gold, buy silver, hedge inflation, blah, blah, blah. That's how they get. Who do you think's selling it? The same people that are telling you to buy it. So you get into it while they get out, they get in $1 and they buy it all at lower prices while you were being their exit liquidity all the way at the top. Silver, same thing on silver. This chart's a year old, guys. I said once we broke the $20 range, it should become resistance. Obviously, we got almost back to 21, but it did become our resistance. My target has been for well over a year, 1550 on silver. Could go much lower if we're in a longer term bear market, guys. Anyways, thanks for watching. Be careful out there. Be careful you watch. A lot of these guys really have no market experience. All they've ever watched is Bitcoin, guys. Be careful out there. All I'm doing is trying to help on this channel. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Leave your comments below. Subscribe to the channel for daily updates, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.